My name is Hannah Mitre, and I am doing a presentation on plants and metals in the environment. I am from Section 2, Biology 1406. Today I will be speaking on the effects that metals have on plants in the environment. There are three effects that I will be breaking down today. One of the first effects is heavy metals increasing the chances of creating threats toward agroecosystems and their research. The second being heavy metals creating problems with plant physiology. The third being heavy metals having a positive effect on plants, enhancing their plant growth, development, and reproduction. Essential heavy metals. Heavy metals are generally defined as metals with relatively high densities, atomic weights, or atomic numbers. So there are two heavy metal types, one being biological, which include elements such as copper, nickel, iron, and zinc, while the other includes the non-biological heavy metals, which are lead, mercury, cadmium, and tin. The dangerous effects of metals. The interference of heavy metals in agroecosystems creates a downfall of climate change and food production. You may be wondering, what are agroecosystems? Well, agroecosystems are the basic unit of study in agroecology, which is looking into agricultural activity. Without this, the plant world cannot survive in a sufficient way, and they will not get the help that they need to survive. Heavy metals are found in a wide range of applications. For instance, some daily life scenarios include anthropogenic activities like mining, smelting, industrial works, and agricultural practices. These things end up triggering a chain reaction of pollutants. On the top right corner, we see the world on fire, which is an example of climate change and global warming. On the bottom right, we have mining, which is one of the causes of pollutions. Heavy metals are set off by these things. Specific ways that heavy metals are toxic. There are ROS production, enzyme inhibition, decrease in water potential, plant cell death, reproduction in photosynthesis, and protein oxidation. Protein oxidation are the results from the reaction of reactive oxygen species. ROS production, also known as reactive oxygen species, are highly reactive chemical molecules formed due to electron accessibility of O2. This may be bad because it proves how it is triggered by the environmental stresses like high light, high or low temperatures, salinity, drought, and pathogen attacks. These are all imbalances of ROS production. The dangers continued. Heavy metals may create problems with plant physiology. Plant physiology is a theoretical basis for increasing total productivity in plants. So if it gets interfered with, there will be problems. These problems include nutritional values changing and raising the quality of plant tissues and organs. On the right-hand side, there's a chart and it breaks down plant physiology and the components of it. On the top red circle, there is phytochemistry. On the right, there is an orange circle that says cellular interactions. The yellow one, molecular and cell biology. The green one, plant morphology and purple environmental interactions. These are all the bases of plant sociology. Now, moving on to the positive effects of heavy metals on plants. A plant, like mentioned in the beginning, plants' growth, development, and reproduction depends on metals. So, heavy metals are essential, but the thing is, they can get dangerous at very high or at higher levels and really bad, really toxic at high numbers. In the picture, there is an uptake of heavy metals by photoextraction. The low concentration through synthesis allows protein, nucleic acid, and photosynthesis pigment and involves structural and functional integrity of cell membranes. Indirect and direct effect of heavy metals to plants. Now, this is a chart that has the indirect and direct effects. The indirect and direct effects are very important to plants. The heavy metals directly or indirectly affect a broad range of physiological and metabolic processes, including inhibition of photosynthesis and respiration, and decrease in essential plant pigments, which ultimately affect crop productivity. So the plant's life depends on whether it's direct or indirect, because it can not only change the plant itself, but have a larger effect on the whole crop, and then so on and so forth. The indirect effects include enzyme activation, damage to lipids and DNA, cell injury and cell death, chromosomal abbreviation, nuclei induction, spindle activity inductions, generation of ROS. The direct effects include plant biomass, seed germination, root elongation, water status, pigments contents, mineral uptake, photosynthesis, respiration, protein contents. Once again, these things may affect a broad range of physiological and metabolic processes. Now, how can you test for heavy metals? There is a way to do this, and that is through atomic absorption. There are three simple steps that I found that I summarized. So there's the weighing of the sample, the second one being dissolution of inappropriate solvent or digestion using different techniques, and dilution of sample if necessary. So this may work, or you can test this on soil, water, and plants, and it works. Now, the concentration of heavy metals. In this chart, I have put a bunch of elements that are often found in plants, and I took their concentrations and I scattered them across. I counted them, and I found the metal type, which they were all heavy, and then I found if they were toxic or not. Of course, the numbers with the higher concentration were found to be toxic, and the other ones were found to be normal or helpful. At the top right, there's a picture of chromium, and on the bottom right, there is a picture of lead, which is a heavy metal type, and it is toxic. And on the bottom left is just a plant, because this is what the whole presentation is about. Now, how can you prevent heavy metals from interfering with plants? This is really important because our world depends on plant life, and we can't survive without it. So helping our plants and nature in any way is great. Now, plant your plants in different sources. These different sources include water. There's a way to do this. There's water and like a special soil that you can use so it doesn't get as much metal. And another one being testing your plants to see how much metal they have, if it's a healthy amount, if there's an unhealthy amount, or if the toxins are too much. And another one being try to be involved in natural activities because, like mentioned in the beginning, there are a lot of activities that go on that what they they encourage pollution, and that triggers the amount of heavy metals. So when we decrease the amount of triggers, it decreases the amount of heavy metals, but in a healthy way. These are my citations for this PowerPoint, and thank you so much for your time.